Great. Okay, great. We're live. We're live. What's up, everybody? Tapping in. What's up? My name is Marco. I'm in Hawaii. Hi, Belle. How are you? It's my daughter's favorite Disney princess right now is Belle. She hasn't seen any of the movies yet, but she loves Belle. She loves the Belle song. She literally says bonjour. We play it for her like multiple times a day. But anyway, I hope you're well, Belle. Everyone else, hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the live. This is basically just a time for us to um, essentially compete with the people doing battle bros and NPCs and all that stuff. But we're gonna be talking a lot more about things that are enriching and educational. This is not meant to be entertaining, although it probably will be entertaining. um, in these lives, we touch on three main topics, which is Reiki. We touch on human design, and then also the physical body, biomechanics, and sensory mechanics, and how to use the body the way that it was intended to be used, as opposed to these adaptations like you know football player or CrossFitter. It's like, hey, human beings. What does human beings do? And so really my aim is to um, create a place where people can access this kind of information, because there's so much gatekeeping, and I've been in the like spiritual world for over 12 years now, and there is so much gatekeeping, and it's disgusting, because not only are the people that are gatekeeping like not really that good at it because they spend so much energy gatekeeping, um but it's also just like this information is um essentially it is available for anyone that wants to spend the time and go research it. Now I spent many years researching and whoops, I spent many years researching spirituality, but primarily I spent a lot of time testing things out. I tested out astrology, I tested about enneagram, I tested out yoga, I tested out kundalini, I tested out ayahuasca, I tested out like everything that I could. And the things that I landed on are like sober things. They're not belief systems, they're not religions. And it's Zach, what's up, my boy? Um, and so, my excitement now is to just be able to share it with you guys, specifically Reiki, human design, and movements. And so, all of this, what I've done, and I'm starting to see now more what I've been doing is I created an archive that has all of my like best exercises and things that I filmed, things that I've tested out, and put it in one place. And it's called the archive. It's a community, it's a membership, it's $11 a month, super affordable membership for what you get. And it's something that I upload to now at the point where I upload to it regularly. So it's a constantly evolving thing. But for anyone that wants to go deeper into these studies, um, that's the place to do it. It's Monday and it will start slow. Let's get to 5K. Thank you, Jenny. Alchemy Within. Could you describe someone who only has root and spleen defined? I'm supposed to be just here. Okay, so this is great. My partner also has just root and just spleen defined. And the one thing about the root and the spleen, especially when they're defined, is they tend to be very like, keep your stress away from me. Like, I have my own stress to deal with, keep your stress away from me. I have my own way of keeping myself healthy, I have my own way of living my life. Keep your stuff away from me. And so it's, I don't want to say it's very judgmental, but it's very how you say, uh it has the eyes to see, right? It sees things that some people don't necessarily want to be seen in. And you will also see things that it's like, what am I supposed to do with this? So having the spleen and the root defined means that there is a consistent pressure. There's a consistent and a regular and reliable way for you to handle stress, right? So if you're late to a party, it's like, oh, instead of rushing, I'm just going to do certain things like tell my friends I'm going to be late or not even go to the party. Whatever it is, you're going to have a way of handling your stress. Same thing with your health. If your health is compromised, you are going to learn how to trust your spleen, or you're going to do the not self activity, which is look at the way other people handle their stress, look at the way other people handle their health, and you're going to try and do what other people do and fail miserably. And so Yeah, great question. And it's something like just be here now. Like, I'm not even kidding. Spend an hour a day. And if you can't do an hour, spend half an hour a day, just like literally touching grass. It sounds so ridiculous and it's totally a joke on the internet, but I kid you not. Like, the feeling of being bored for a splenic projector, for a being with root pressure and spleen, the feeling of being born, and not like ignoring things that you have to do, but I'm talking about setting aside an hour or half an hour a day to literally, like, again, touch grass, like be outside, look at trees, cloud watch, right? The feelings of being bored, nature is the only thing that regulates me. And that's how it is, sis. Like, everything else is going to deregulate you. Now, deregulation is not a bad thing. Deregulation is actually very fun and exciting. I have fully undefined chart, and deregulating myself by exposing myself to other people, it's part of being a human being, is deregulating your system. The problem is when you think deregulation is bad and you think that regulation is the only thing you're supposed to do, because in being deregulated, you get to experience, like, flavors and different music, and you get to experience the world through deregulation. But you have to be able to come back to regulation, and you also have to understand that deregulation is not a problem. It's the inability to regulate, deregulate, regulate, deregulate, and go back and forth between the two, similar to what we call heart rate variability, which is your heart's ability to pump really fast, run away from the tiger, and then, like, relax, eat your dinner. Pump really fast, but like it's the ability to go back and forth between the two things. And that's exactly the kind of work and physical training that I offer in the archive, which is like my primary kind of subscription and community. So anyway, I'm never bored. I have too many curiosities. I have been stuck as a projector. People ask me for no reason in all settings, right? I am never bored. I have too many curiosities. Yeah. So, and and this is the thing about human design. And if you're looking at your body graph, one of the things that you want to get really clear on, and I just made a video, but one of the things want to get really clear on is, like, what is the measuring stick that I am going to measure myself by? And this is very important, because whenever you set up goals, whenever you set up manifestation, I want to work through this trauma, I want to work through that trauma, I want to have this achievement, I want to do this, I want this kind of relationship. Really, what you have to do is, if you want like the one that's proper for you, what you ought to try is going into your body graph, looking at all the channels and possibly even all of the gates that you have. And you can get the details about those channels and about those gates through either my report on my website or through Neutrino Design, which both of those things you can get through my website. Um, and you make your manifestations about what circuits you have, and you make them about, like, for instance, if you have the 2034, right? I'm so happy and grateful for my charisma. I'm so happy and grateful that my friends are receptive to my charisma, right? Like, it's called keynoting, and you use these keynotes of your channels to actually write out these spells and these affirmations that are directly extracted from your body graph. Because what they're going to start doing is, once you start to share these affirmations, like your body graph affirmations, and I'll probably design a report actually that will teach you guys how to do this. But once you do this, what you're going to realize is, wow, I either have no place for this channel in my life currently, or I have a place where this channel is currently showing up, but maybe not as much as I wanted to. And so you're going to get to be able to see the discrepancies between where you want to be and where you're at. Where the version of you that is expressing their circuitry and manifesting their circuitry, and then the version of you where you're at, there's usually a gap in between those two. And when you start to speak these things out loud, that gap becomes more and more uncomfortable to do nothing in, and you actually start to close the gap, right? This is why it's important to set goals, because we don't set goals to get things that we don't have. We set goals to become people that we weren't before. And this is the with human design, setting goals with human design, is you're looking at becoming the person that maybe you were too afraid to become, or looking at bringing forward the inner child, or the purest version of yourself you had to protect, right? Sometimes you have to protect yourself. and you have to go along with whatever the external authority is doing. So anyway, the uncomfortable soul. As a reflector, I cannot figure out the Teflon aura. I just keep flipping it back at people. Going to check out the archive. Yes. So one of the things about reflectors and the non sacral beings that I highly recommend is that it's super important to get your physiology and your physical body tapped into the right things. Now, there's a lot of things you can do. Yoga is very popular. CrossFit is also super popular. Weightlifting is all popular. I don't recommend any of that stuff. And it's not because any of that stuff is bad, but it's because it focuses more on, for instance, like yoga has just become like a sexy, appeal thing. Bodybuilding has always been about aesthetics and not necessarily functionality, though there are functional bodybuilders. Um, a lot of systems have lost the essence of what they're trying to do. And when it comes to being a human being, the things that we do the most and the things that we should be the best at are walking, running, throwing, sitting, and standing. And by the best at them, I mean we should be able to transition from walking to running, to from sitting to standing, from standing to squatting down. And we should be able to do all these things with a level of athleticism that is you don't see it as much anymore. Riley, what's up, friend? Yes, it makes sense. I took your advice of getting 20 minutes outside, but I need more. Right. So give yourself more. As a reflector, one of the things about the Teflon aura that is really helpful for you to understand is it peripheral vision, right, is different than focused vision. Like I'm looking at my phone and now I'm looking at the speaker over there. Now I'm looking at the microphone, but I'm not moving my eyes. Peripheral vision is everything you see outside of your central focus. One of the best things for reflectors to train is peripheral vision. So one of the ways you can train it is using a simple three-part eye exercise. You go convergence, you cross your eyes and you look up, do it without flexing your forehead like that, okay? Then you go to focus, you focus on something, you can focus on the tip of your thumb or your phone, and then you go into peripheral, which is just everything in the outside. And then we just loop that cycle. So inhale, eyes to convergence. This gives you a place of center. Exhale, focus on your phone or your thumb. Inhale, go into your peripheral vision, see everything around you're focused. And then exhale, stay in this peripheral vision. You're eating the light from around places other than your focus. Back to convergence, eyes up and cross. This is your center. Exhale, focus. Inhale into the peripheral. Exhale into the peripheral. Now, if you guys like these exercises, again, this is all in the archive, and I've started this new series called Daily Practice, where I'm literally just like I'm giving you guys like micro doses, so you can pull these sensory exercises out of your back pocket and use them multiple times during your day. One of the craziest experiences I've had with these is my bus, there was a flood happening and my bus was not moving. And I was like freaking out basically. And I cut my hand open. You see that, which is funny enough. That's looks like a moon, doesn't it? That was the shape of the moon during the flood that this was going on. And I stopped in the middle of the flood and I did these eye exercises that are in the archive. I did these, they're called sensory mechanics. And then I took like 3 minutes because it was like a disaster. And then I was able to drive my car away. And it was just like, it was like, oh, okay. So when they say like slow down and collect yourself, what do you do? This is the kind of thing that you want to do. You want to get out of this locked focus perspective and you want to get into the peripheral. Because what I didn't realize, because I was so locked and focused getting my van or getting my bus out of the river, was that the freaking parking brake was on. So with my peripheral vision, I was able to see that, and I undid the parking brake, and it still didn't go. But then I backed it up, and then I went and I got out. So anyway, I literally saved my bus with this, and this may end up saving your life or somebody else's life because working into again, the peripheral vision is so helpful, especially for beings that are non-sacral. Unconditional soul, oh, much love. Cry. If you feel like crying, go ahead and cry. Like you don't need to know what the feeling is. Just like let tears fall. Right. I welcome tears. I'm so happy that we're connected as well, because this is what I want. I want to be able to share the stuff that's worked for me that I've been testing, that I've been trying to break for years, and I'm like giving you guys the unbreakable stuff. Yes. How do I keep my hair so pretty? I actually don't do much. Yeah. But anyway, let's get back to this question, Heather. Um, do you have any tips on deconditioning the undefined or open center? So great question. So depending on what center you have undefined, and I'm just going to show you guys my body graph because I have all of my centers undefined. This is what makes me so good at human design. Oh wait, let's do that one. So that's my body graph, specifically with the moon transit turned on. But still, again, nothing is here. So good rising from Hawaii. Hello from one of the other islands. I'm from Maui. Um, but deconditioning these undefined centers, primary is awareness, right? Like deconditioning is not so much about like fixing yourself or getting people's stuff out of you. It's more about becoming aware of what's there and then somehow integrating it, because the way I see it, like, yes, you can get trauma out of the body, but you can never fully erase what happens to you, nor would you want to. Like, you could think about this. Trauma is the same. It's the same input. It's the same stress on the body. It's the same injuries between somebody that is in a car accident and somebody that is training for a marathon. It's the same, their legs, their back. It's the same parts of them that are being stressed out and exposed to, again, stress, trauma. But whereas one is quote unquote an accident, the other is intentional and training. And so it's like fuel. It's trauma. It doesn't matter what kind of trauma you have. It's about what you do with. And most people don't do anything with the trauma. And in fact, they just try and make it go away. And that sucks. That's one of the worst things you can do with trauma, because that's the same thing as like pushing your emotions away. Right? Like that's the fuel for your fire. And nobody gets out of life untraumatized. Like you realize that. No one is trying to get out, and you're not, so it's not like you want to get out with as little trauma as you can. It's more so like you want to die with as much of your experience alchemized as possible. And this is the recipe. And so check this out. Each of these centers has a not self theme. And in my reports, it tells you exactly what the not self themes are in a lot more detail. But this is where you guys want to pay attention, because I'm going to say the not self themes of all of these undefined centers. And these are the things that you want to look out for. You want to become more aware of where you're trying to solve everybody else's problems. That's the undefined head. In the undefined ajna, you have trying to convince people that you're certain. In the undefined throat, you have doing things just for the attention. In the undefined G, you have looking for validation and love externally, as well as direction and identity. In the undefined sacral, you have not knowing when enough is enough. When is enough enough? In the undefined root, you have rushing through things just to get the pressure off your back. In the undefined ego, you have trying to prove yourself or trying to compete with others. In the undefined solar plexus, you have avoiding confrontation or avoiding the truth. And in the undefined spleen, you have the like not knowing what's good for you, or like holding on to things that are not good for you. So if you ask yourself, like, again, let's say you have the head najna, you really want to be looking out for, where am I trying to solve other people's problems, and where am I constantly trying to convince people that I'm certain about things? And yes, these are written down. This is in the reports that you guys get. So there's two reports on my website. There's the custom report, which is just an analysis of your body graph. The Reiki report will have all of this information that I'm talking about. So it's the analysis plus a introduction to human design, where I talk about like, hey, this is how to decondition. Because again, deconditioning is not about removing the trauma from your body. It's about learning how to tell a different story. It's about becoming aware of the impact of that trauma. It's ultimately about forgiveness and accepting that whoever put this trauma on me was probably unconsciously doing it. They were probably hurting themselves, and I can have compassion and forgiveness for that. I accept this one. And so if you go to the Reiki report, it's when we're talking about centers that you'll see a graphic in there that will like explain, like, again, am I trying to solve everyone else's problem, etc. Yeah, go back and reread it because it's a helpful little bit. Because again, what we're looking to do is like we're tracking, we're looking to track when is my signature showing up and when is my not self showing up, right? When is my natural manifestations emerging, and where are my distortions of who I think I need to be emerging? And just becoming aware of those two things, you'll start to realize like, oh wow, I spend a lot more time manifesting my not self and a lot more energy manifesting my not self than my signature. How what do you want to do with that? Do you want to continue manifesting frustration, or do you want to start manifesting satisfaction? And again, it's not, one is not bad, and the other is not good. It's just you get to choose. You know what I'm saying? If it comes from our own past life, so we get to learn what we did before and how it affects us, right? And so growing through the trauma, exactly. Like again, it's like it literally does not matter what happened to you, because you always have this choice, even if you have no arms and legs, right? Even if you are have, quote unquote deformities or mutations in you, you don't have to accept other people's ideas about what's going on with you. And this is the beauty of human design, because it gives us a like a ground to stand on. You found it, Jenny? Great. Yeah. If anyone else is looking for it, again, it's in the centers section. It's in the section 2, where we start talking about like how to use human design, what is human design. Because deconditioning your undefined centers basically means opening yourself up to experiencing the world without needing to define yourself by those experiences, right? Particularly in a center. So for instance, people with undefined head and ajna, right? Y'all are prone to like seeking a way to be certain, or seeking a form of validation through problem solving, right? But that's not what these centers are not for, solving other people's problems and convincing people you're certain. They are for recognizing when people are properly inspired, and recognizing when people are thinking properly, as opposed to you having to think that way or you having to solve that problem. It's about recognizing in others, right? So I need a new tattoo. I'm going to email you about drawing my cross. Oh, okay. Yes. Yes, Jenny, let's definitely do that. That's going to be fun. I'm so stoked on that. So I do consult on this, guys. If you're feeling like, wow, this is really deep, I want Marco to look at my chart. That is something that I offer. The calendar for that is the link in my bio, ReikiMarco.com. You can schedule a session with me. We spend an hour on Zoom. You'll get a report as well. So if you don't have a report and if you want to do a session, just book the session. I'll get you your report during the session, and so you'll have all this information. I also record these as well. I record our sessions together so that you can go back and look at them, because these things will hit. And I have people who have done sessions for like a year ago. Like, I just watched the recording and you said something that didn't make sense back then, but totally makes sense back now. And so it's really great to have that as a resource. Marco, no lie. Oh, I was like, did I invite someone accidentally to my thing? Marco, no lie, the Reiki helped. No, let's decline. The Reiki helped my puppy named Bunny so much. Oh, for real? Blessings to the puppy. Yes, you guys can book a session now. So I'm gonna be on vacation this week, so I'm not gonna have any availability this week. But last week in October, or this week after, yes, 100% you can book a session. I also do relationship readings and business readings for anyone that is interested in wanting more harmony in their relationship or more harmony with their business. We can use human design to, again, as like a map, and then to assist you and aid you in your journey. But yeah, for anyone that wants to book a session, go on my website right now, book a session, and I will see you whenever we book, or whenever you book. This, by the way, is this graphic that I'm sharing with you guys is from my favorite human design app. It's called Neutrino Design, and you can get it actually at 25% off via the link in my bio. I have a really good relationship with the guy who makes this app, and yeah, we're doing 25% off. Just because like my and it's cheap as hell. It's like $36 for the year, but you get it for like $26 or something like that. If you go through the link in my bio. And this is a great way to learn about human design as well. Hello, Jnet, because you can literally tap on all of the centers, all of these gates, everything you see, you can tap on and then learn about it. Now, human design used properly to embody human design, it's more than just like learning everything, right? It's actually about, and this is why the archive exists. It's about getting this information into your cells. It's about getting this information so you don't have to think about it, but you just recognize it. Like when you look at your hand, you don't think, oh, there's my hand. What do you see? Oh, my hand is dirty, or, my hand is in pain, or there's a cut on my hand. Immediately, we go towards the thing that needs fixing. That's just what the mind does. And eventually, you don't even have to look at your hand to feel the pain or know where the cut is or know how to take care of it, right? Like you're not giving your hands forward and tap my screen. Which, if you guys are enjoying this, do me a favor, tap the screen. That's super helpful. That gets this number up, and then more people are going to find the live, and we're going to be able to talk to more people about human design. So if you find this helpful and you're able to share the live, do that as well. That's probably the most helpful thing. Littlest Fur, thank you for asking that question again. The chat goes really fast, so if I miss a question, guys, and you really want to know the answer, just bring it through again. So the environment essentially is like where you're going to be the most optimized, right? Like my environment is wide valleys, and there's something about feeling protected. There's something about feeling like I'm like there's a river and a stream that runs through the property that I live on. There's something about being in the flow of that information. There's something about being on the ground for me personally, and I've tested this, and I feel much more at home in a valley than on a mountain or in a cave. It's not that I don't feel at home or like those places. I feel at home pretty much anywhere, but living and working and doing my things, being in the valley, I need to be able to like reach my hand into the river and get a pulse of what's going on. So that's valleys. I know the most about valleys because I am a valley person. But you also have mountains, you have shores, you have caves and valleys. Those are the four natural environments. And again, with the environments, it's like you don't have to live in the environment, but you want the quality of the environment to show through. So, like for instance, I can show you guys here. Let me get rid of my body graph in the background. Bye. I can show you guys here that I sort of have a valley situation in my bus, right? So it's like I've got this high thing over here, and then all of this high stuff over here. This is the valley, and this is literally where I sit and do my work. This is literally where I sit and pray and set my intentions and do my Reiki and do my soft tissue and do my yoga, whatever. I don't do yoga. I'm just so used to saying that because I did yoga for so long. But it's I do my work in the valley. So what kind of birth chart? So that was my human design. That was my body graph. And you can actually go generate those for free on my website. You just enter in your information and it'll generate one for you. But it's okay. So for cave people, there's lower ceilings, less windows. For caves, it's all about protection, right? Caves are like I want to be able to sit with my back towards or my front facing the entrance and my back towards the back of the cave, and I want to see who comes in and who comes out, right? And so for instance, an area that you could incorporate that into your life is to be, thinking about like, oh, let me put curtains up, let me see if I can drop the ceiling a little bit, let me see if I can orient myself so that I'm more in control of who comes in and who comes out. Again, you want to be able to incorporate these things into your life if you can't actually like live in those areas. I always tell my husband, open the curtain because I don't want to be in a cave. Yep, exactly. Mountains. Okay, so mountains is higher elevation, lower oxygen. This is one of the areas where it's actually really helpful to be in that location because of the lower oxygen. There's something about that is really worth exploring. But even just like having things high up, like get a standing desk, You know what I mean? And then one of the things that I would also recommend is, find a place that actually is your environment, like an actual mountain, an actual farmer's market, if you're markets, external markets or internal markets. If you're a kitchen, find a laboratory that you can go into, a gym, a club, something like that. Have a place where you can go to where you can kind of like pulse that environment, because again, you don't have to live in the environment, right? But it is nice to know when you want to like go be optimized, think, dream, craft your manifestation rituals, spells, etc. Do magic. Like those are good places to do it. And then when you have a transference as well, which is the opposite of your environment, that is essentially going to be a place where it's like you're more easily distracted, you're not as easily noticed, so it would be a place to go, like just like chill and not be, say how you say it, nothing to say that you don't want to be yourself, but it's like the goal is to not always to be yourself, but it's to be able to watch when you go from being yourself to not self, because every human being has a differentiating variability built into them. Like you can look at however many undefined centers you have, and the more undefined centers you have, like the more designed you are to be, you're more designed to be like ditto, like moving through different waves, having different ways of being, experimenting a lot more versus someone that's more fully defined. Doesn't mean you can't be like open with a fully defined chart. Just means that again, by design, you're less open to doing things that are not the things that you do. The more undefined centers you have, you want to be nice and flowing and free. Which, funny enough, I've been more defined in my life than ever before, and I feel like I'm living out my design better than ever before, and I've gotten reflections that I'm living out better than ever before, and I'm a lot less how you say um open to doing things, primarily because when it comes to like doing things, there's a lot of other people's interference that I just don't really want to deal with. And so I'm like in another phase of like holding out and raising the standard so that everybody that has access to me, it's harder to get access to me. Um, where I get to very, it actually is very cave like to like control that stuff. But anyway, I'm totally rambling. I wanted to have a hobbit home or live inside a tree. When I saw my human design was caves, it made so much sense. Yes, exactly. Right. And so one of the things design is like it's a map back to kind of like your inner child. And it, about where we're at with human design is that a lot of us have kids. I wouldn't say a lot of us, but some of us have kids, and we can raise our children. We can raise our children with human design in mind, and so as to not manipulate them to being the best version of what we think they should be, so we can actually allow them to be themselves. Human design is it's one of the ways that I'm raising my child big time, is going to be with human design, which she's an emotional manifester, so shout out to all my emotional manifestors in the chat. Thank you. Hello, Jnet, for the little toy dinosaurs. I want to bring your guys' attention to this thing right here. The subscriptions, the gifts, and everything are dope. The subscriptions, though, guys, I just figured out how to use them, and I'm going to be adding more tiers soon. But essentially, I have started to post exclusive subscription only content that is kind of like, some of it is previews from the archive, some stuff that goes up on the archive. You don't get full access to the archive unless you come to the archive, which again is only 11 bucks a month. That's where all the best stuff goes. That's where all the recordings go, etc. But what you really want to pay attention to is with this subscription, I'm going to start to do, which JNet is a subscriber, which is wonderful. Thank you, JNet, for subscribing. So there's exclusive content for subscribers, but then also what I'm going to start doing is towards the tail end of these lives, Jenny's subscribing to, I'm going to actually do an extra like 10-15 minutes or so for the subscribers. So again, things are starting to pick up, which is amazing, and I'm still going to be giving all of this information and talks and stuff primarily to what is that? Anyway, someone from Facebook Marketplace trying to sell me some cabinets and stuff. Anyway, um, the subscriptions, we're going to be doing like our normal Monday, Wednesday, Friday lives, but then at the end of them, for the subscribers, we're just going to do like a little exclusive thing. So again, exclusive content, and then also the exclusive lives weekly. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. So anyone that wants to subscribe, again, I think the tier is like $6 a month, which is absolutely crazy. But every little bit helps, because the more that I'm able to focus on creating things for you guys so that you can more effectively use human design, um, that's all great. Then I can just focus on that. So we're having a big like shift coming in this business, for what ReikiMarco is. And these lives are a part of it. Ultimately, being able to reach a wider audience, share human design and Reiki with a wider audience, while also still having time for myself. I've always had this paradigm that having a community would be very taxing, and it is, but it's also very worth it. And the ability to actually share this medicine with people, and like we helped Riley's dog last week, from what she told us here, which is epic, because the Reiki thing is something that's been turning back on in a really big way, and I'm excited to share some of that with you. And again, subscribers and also people in the archive are going to get kind of like first dibs on a lot of that stuff, as well as crazy discounts. So yeah, super excited about it. Like, I'm starting to figure out this whole TikTok live thing, and it was such a mystery to me before, but now I'm starting to get it. um and it's a lot of it has to do with the handful of you that have been super supportive, and primarily supportive in the ways that you're like using the information that I'm sharing. I think I've seen two people subscribe to the archive, just in during this live alone, which is awesome, because the archive is also, in addition to being like a learning playground, it's also a discussion center. It's also an actual community, so it's like a how you say, you'll be able to ask questions, and it's pretty small right now, which is um, awesome, because it's like we have another archive that's just courses with like 100 people in there. And so getting this, building this community, this is, again, it's a human design based, Reiki based, a biomechanics based community. Little Fur, thank you for sharing the live, by the way. Okay, Internet Bungo, what does it mean to be a projector? So a projector is inherently a guide, right? A projector is a being that has a cone shaped aura, that's a penetrating aura. Okay, so the nature of a projector is to absorb information, right, from the world around you, and then focus and redirect that information. So projectors are operating on this ability to, for instance, to see somebody deeper than they can see themselves. And Internet Bunga, let me know if this resonates with you. Not everybody is ready or wanting your guidance, and that makes you bitter, right? That makes you like, well, I know exactly what you need to do to pull your head out of your butt, but you're not, when I tell you to do it, you don't do it, right? And this is one of the plights that projectors fall under, is knowing what someone ought to be doing or how to improve someone's life, but not being invited to help them, right? And this is a lot of the times projectors cope with this by just like giving away guidance to people, because they're naturally very perceptive, right? They're naturally very discerning. But when you just give away your guidance without being invited, it makes you more bitter, because again, the person is either like, I didn't ask you, or I didn't want that, or I'm not going to do that, right? They might say to your face, oh, that's great advice, I'll do that, but they won't actually do it. So anyway, with the projector, what you want to be really mindful of is invitations and recognition. Like, when people recognize you and say, I like the way you think, or I like the way you move your body, or I really appreciate the direction you have in life, right? Great. They've recognized you. Then they have to invite you. Then they have to say, I really like the way you think. Will you help me think about this problem? Or what do you see for me? Right? If they don't do both of those things, recognition and invitation, as a projector, You will not have any energy to help them unless they recognize and invite you. Right. Deb. Definitely Deb. So and this is one thing that you thank you for the tiny tiny. That's I like that. Tiny tiny. I love the lightning bolts big time. If you're not invited, you're gonna end up bitter. And that's an unfortunate place to be. So I've seen it through like life, like law of opposites. I saw opportunities and they fail to change. Exactly. So what you're speaking about is, and this is where you know not following your strategy, not waiting for an invitation, not learning patience exactly leads you to manifest bitterness. Now you're bitter at your friends for not listening to you, right? Now you're bitter at yourself for not respecting your energy. This is really the core of it, right? Bitterness, even though it may seem like it's about the other person, it really is bitterness towards yourself. Because one of the things that the projector is relatively poor at is the ability to see the impact on themselves. Like you guys will burn yourself up. You guys will burn yourself up to help other people. But when it comes to doing something for yourself, that's like twisting your arm and breaking your arm. And so much of your energy that you can see other people's things, etc. You want to take that and put it back on yourself. And not in the sense of like how do you correct yourself? How do you fix yourself? How do you guide yourself? The question is how do you love yourself? What are the things that are important for you? And one of the if you don't know what's important for you, experiment with your strategy and with your authority primarily. So if you have emotional authority, okay, tend to your emotions. Give yourself a couple hours a week to to tap into your emotions, whether that's writing poetry, that's journaling about your emotions, that's writing music, that's singing songs that tap you into a certain type of emotion, that's giving yourself permission to cry, that's doing all these things that again tending to the emotions. If you're splenic, prioritize your health, get some new supplements for yourself, training in the archive, because one of the best ways to be healthy is to move your body. And in fact, non-negotiable, you have to move your body in order to be healthy. And again, these are great things to prioritize for everybody, right? But especially projectors, because when you prioritize your inner authority, what you're doing is you're manifesting more of your internal authority as opposed to manifesting the bitterness that you get from your relationships, etc. Would love to know some of the differences between generators and manifestors. Do you mean generators and manifesting generators? Um, Rihanna, no, 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 Rihanna, gosh. Sorry, I have too much fun. Philly, I've been surprised at how often people invite me now since I stopped and gave them a chance to. Philly, yes, that's what I'm talking about. It's like once you accept, like I don't need somebody to invite me to go fishing. I'll just take myself fishing. Then you go fishing, and then suddenly everyone wants to take you fishing. It's amazing how life works like that. Once you start to like let go of the need for other people to do the things that you want to do, then those people start to find you, which is why waiting for an invitation sometimes means commit yourself to spending the next year and a half not doing anything with any of the people that you've done anything with. The next year and a half, if you're just learning that you're a projector, this would be my advice. For the next year and a half, don't do anything unless someone recognizes you specifically and they invite you to do something. And instead of initiating or trying to make plans with people, just go do the thing yourself. Just go do the thing yourself. Reiki is working for me. I'm going to be adding some things to the Reiki course in the archive pretty soon, guys, that I'm really excited about because my initial mission in spirituality was to share Reiki with people. I have since lost that mission, but now since my mission is to share human design with people, the Reiki thing is coming back online. And the fact that we're doing it live now with a living community is wild. So life can be isolating as a projector waiting for people to invite us. Kind of nice, actually. This is the funniest stuff, Rachel, because my partner is a projector. She's a splenic projector. I'm a reflector, by the way, Ash, 3-5, on the right angle cross of rulership. But there's that saying that it's like it's better to be yourself and be alone than have to pretend to be somebody else and be surrounded by people. Yes. So when it comes to being alone as a projector, And same thing, it's like boredom and loneliness. Those are probably the two main things that human beings really need to spend more. You need to spend more time feeling lonely and more time being bored. Because here's the thing, when people feel lonely, what do? They go online, they try and make friends. When people feel bored, what do? They try and entertain themselves. Stop doing that stuff. Boredom is essentially the nervous system downshifting, right? And loneliness is you having to expose yourself to yourself. You are going to learn how to either tolerate yourself, tolerate your boredom and enjoy it, learn to enjoy your boredom, tolerate your loneliness and learn to enjoy your own loneliness, transmute boredom into relaxation, true relaxation, and then transmute loneliness into aloneness, and you will be unfuckwithable. You're not going to be shaken by other people's stuff. Hey, Marco, how's it going, brother? I'm a projector as well. Loneliness has never seemed bad to me. I love it. I love it. Oh, Vegas Matt. ReikiMarco. Hello, my lord. Um, Speaking of Reiki, this guy right here, Vegas Matt, um, is a dear, he's like a brother dad to me, because he's like more fun than a dad, but also a brother. And he's the reason, and actually he literally is the reason why I went full-time Reiki. What was it, like 7 years ago or so, 7 8 years ago. And I we were he was working with me. We were doing Reiki together, and he was like, "Marco, you are so good. Why don't you go full time?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I took a risk and I went full time, and I've not worked for anybody else other than myself since then. And so you guys, the fact that I'm able to be here right now is thanks to Vegas Matt and his belief in me. And this is where having a mentor or a teacher in your life, or someone that you plug into, that is like you're looking up at them, right? Like you have something that I know I don't have. This is good. This is what you call like flying with eagles, right? Flying on a plane, absolutely. Love you, Matt. Miss you. Come to Maui soon. Come to Maui soon. um yeah, I just got so much love for that guy, because again, he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And what I love about human design is I've always been able to see things in people can't see for themselves. And but human design, now I can articulate it in a way that people can follow me along. Because I was like basically doing what human design does, but before human design. And then when I found human design, I had to like swallow my ego and be like, yeah, this is a better system than what I was building. And it works. It works. And especially being a reflector, like I don't think anything I'm doing is original. Reiki is not original. um Human design is not original to me. I didn't invent biomech. I'm not inventing any of this stuff. None of this is original ideas, but I literally am looking for the best stuff by breaking all the stuff that is not the best, and I'm bringing it to you. And so that's the service that I'm bringing, is that I've had 12 years in the spiritual world, and I've done all these different things. I can save you guys so much time and so much energy, and probably like a lot of unnecessary spiritual drama and trauma. um, just tap in and be curious. So, Little Fur, much love. We're going live Monday, and actually, this upcoming week, I'm not going to be going live Wednesday and Friday. I'm going on vacation with my family, so this will be the only live this week. But I'll see you guys next Monday. So Littlest Fur, if you can get back in next Monday, it would be awesome to keep grooving with you. I'm slightly confused about the gates. No worries. They're like literal gates. Okay. They're like doors that are either open or closed. Now, when you have gates defined and they create a channel, right? You have like a gate in the solar plexus and a gate in the throat. That means that there is a consistent flow of energy between your emotions and your throat, which means that anything that is if there's anything that you want to be doing with your day, I'm definitely in a bus, Jew. Yes. Um, One of the things that your primary expression should be is vocalizing your emotions, and not necessarily in like, oh, just tell people what's going on with you emotionally. It's more like somatically feel your emotions, but then reflect on them in a way where you're able to express the process Depend again, it depends on what channel that you have. And so one of the ways that you can interpret the gates, right, especially within the context of like, how do I be myself, is you look at your life and you see where these gates show up. Like for instance, if you have gate 39, obstruction or provocation, right, where does that show up in your life? Because if you're not conscious of where it shows up, it's probably showing up unconsciously, and my guess is that it's showing up in a place that is not actually like really doing anything for you. So anyway, I feel people get annoyed with me. I'm not trying to be helpful, but it is perceived that way. So Anna, are you what is your type? Because again, most of humanity is designed to wait for something. Wait a lunar cycle, wait for a response, wait for an invitation. It's only the manifestors that are here to initiate things. And it's insane because all the manifestors are like, oh, or not all of them. Some of the manifestors are like, I don't want to initiate. It feels weird. And I'm like, okay, but what happens if you don't initiate? They're like, nothing happens. And it's like, all right, well, great. Well, then cool. And a lot of the generators or projectors or manifesting generators or reflectors are like, I'm just gonna go make it happen. Some of them. And I'm like, all right, but what happens when you wait? They're like, things go way better. And I'm like, all right, so then what are you gonna do? And like, I'm gonna go make it happen. I'm like, all right, have fun with your experiment. Again, this was one of those things where it's like it's hard to do, but that's only because you've gotten so used to doing something the normal way, which is go out and make it happen. Especially if you live in the West, right? We are very brainwashed to think that it's all about like happen for yourself. And it's like it's not that that's wrong, but it's like when it with other people, follow the strategies. When it comes to making things happen in your own life, yes, you have to make things happen. But it's like for a generator, one of the best things you can do is in the mornings when you wake up, right? What does your gut immediately pull you to? Spend time doing the thing that your gut wants you to do. First thing in the morning, you prioritize whatever the frick your gut wants. Whatever you'll win as for a projector, you want to create a space for yourself that invites you to do something that's nourishing for yourself before you think about other people. Before you start thinking about, oh, I need to make money for my family or oh, I need to do this. What is the thing that you need to do for yourself? Prioritize yourself because you cannot help people if you are not knowing how to help yourself. Anyway, waiting for the invitation is hard sometimes. Yes, totally makes sense. Again, it's challenging, but if you think about it, it's a lot easier than pretending to be someone else. I feel attacked. You're welcome. If you follow an idea, is it initiating or responding? It depends. So draw me an oracle card. Great question. If you have an idea, one thing that's important to know about the ideas is that ideas always come through it really in a form of co-creation, right? Like, and if you can name an idea that was not co-created, like it was solely created by one person and one person alone, it's kind of a trick question because, for instance, art has the creator and you also have the viewer of the art. Without the viewer of the art, the idea, again, what is an idea? So what I'm basically saying is that ideas don't just manifest when you have one person. You need other people around in order to manifest ideas. Ideas need to be shared and spoken about and infused with energy from the body. They don't just manifest out of nothing, right? So that's why having a masterclass this weekend called The Art of Choosing You. Oh, Jenny is having a masterclass. I love it. Then there's the muse. Yes, like the musical muse is I have a musical muse that I chase in a way. I just purchased the app, installed it. It's still asking me to purchase. So strong as go check out your email. You should have a code in your email, and there's directions in your email with how to redeem your purchase on the app. But what I was saying is like, regarding the inertia that you feel, right? I feel people and what they're doing and see how they're getting hurt, and I want to try and help. So great. That's a beautiful thing, but it's misguided, it's misdirected. It's like imagine being a 12th grade teacher and you have all these lessons for 12th graders, but you're in a second grade classroom. You can't teach the 12th grade lessons to the second graders. Okay, you have to teach them second grader lessons. Now, if you're a 12th grade teacher and that's what you like doing and that's what you're seeing, like you're not going to be of much use in a second grade classroom. So one of my invitations that I like to put out there generally and over again for projectors is that when it comes to following your strategy and waiting for an invitation, you do not need an invitation to leave. And you can also invite other projectors into and out of things. You can initiate on other projectors, or rather experiment with that and see how it goes. But you don't need an invitation to leave. If you feel underutilized or underappreciated in a way, that in and of itself is an invitation to leave. If you want to feel appreciated and you like want to go up to a group and like get some praise, that's initiating. Someone asked before, is like responding to an idea initiating? Most of the times, yes. What you need to do is look for instance, something to respond to share the idea to see if there's any momentum. Again, human design is it's literally all about like, well, let's see if it works. Let's see if it moves. And with ideas, again, if you're sharing an idea and there's nothing to respond to, like if someone comes up to me and just starts like sharing an idea, I'm usually like, oh, okay, thanks. Versus me saying, hey man, you got any good ideas you want to share? Then they share. That is more a fruit, that is more fertile soil for the idea to grow than you just coming up and sharing the idea. So again, that would be my answer. Really like your insight. Much love, my friends. I love listening to you speak while I'm getting things done around the house. Yes. Right, just like learning by reverse osmosis, and this is the goal, guys. So there's for those of you that can tap the screen and share and participate in the live, great, because we're going to get more people like um like Tiffany over here, who is like just doing things around the house but tapping in, right? Because again, you may have to hear the same message 100 times before it actually clicks, before you actually start to make changes in your life. I do make music, Vesfly. If you look up Coco Bones on Spotify and YouTube and all that stuff, you can find my music. It's also, if you look at the links in my bio, there's a SoundCloud and a Spotify link. I do make music and I want to make more. Same to me. I get so much knowledge from you. Deanna Lopez, thank you so much. Tina, new here, curious what resources I can use to find out what I am. Thank you. Yeah. So Tina, on my website, you can generate a body graph. And then after you generate a body graph, I have 2 reports available. I recommend the Reiki report. It's 35 bucks. It does a full analysis of your body graph. So it literally will explain every detail of your body graph to you, as well as give you like an introduction to human design and how to use all that information, because it is literally an overwhelming amount of information. It's like an 80-page, super dense PDF report, and there's also a list of like techniques with how to embody this. So like how to meditate, how to set goals, how to do sacral calibrations. I believe there's a link to the archive in there, because this is as much about learning things as it is about like actualizing things, right? Yeah, I'm kind of stubborn. I try hard not to be. You probably have stubbornness in your chart at some point. But everyone is like, stubbornness is not a bad thing unless it's a bad thing. Again, you have to just find places and where these things are expressed, because it's like you could be stubborn and not listening to anyone, or you could be stubborn and focused as fuck and not distracted by anyone. You know what I mean? So you have to learn how to channel it, and you can. And yes, there are definitely a lot of scammers pretending to be me. I'm never going to reach out to you and ask you for money. I might reach out to you and give you a free gift, but I will not be like, send me this thing and I'll do something for you. Okay? If you want to work with me, sorry, I just had to verify that I'm a living human being. If you want to work with me, do so through the website. Sans Rico, thank you for the follow. Excited to have you along for the journey. So quick segue, guys. If you are not following me already, please follow me, because well, only if you're enjoying it. Follow me now though, because if the live ends or disconnects and you can't remember my name, unfortunately, until the next time I'm live and you stumble upon me, yeah. So follow me now if you're enjoying this. If not, and you're still vetting me out, no worries. But just I don't want you guys to lose me. Desiree, thanks for the follow. Killer, hi. I've been following you, and you teach me so much. Much love, guys. Much love. I'm literally just so excited to have this technology so we can share this information, guys, because it's so important. I'm curious, is it not a good idea for generators to create its own business? No, generators are wonderful entrepreneurs. Vesfly, if you go to the links in my bio, it should take you to a page with like a bunch of buttons and stuff. Just scroll all the way down and you'll see the little icon for like Spotify and all that stuff. So generators make wonderful, everyone makes wonderful entrepreneurs. You just have to understand that the way a generator runs their business is going to be different than the way the reflector runs their business. So, for instance, as a generator, if I'm starting a business, one of the things that I want to identify is what is the thing in my business, like what is the thing that my business is responding to? What is my business? What pain point in the world? Like I see people with back pain, so I'm responding to that by creating a product, right? And then further into the business, what are the things that I actually like to do? What are the things that I have the energy to do as an entrepreneur? Am I the creator? Do I like designing the products? Do I like designing the marketing? Do I like doing? And so when you're creating a business as a generator, manifesting generator, you just want to ask yourself, what activities are in response to certain things? Like again, what am I doing on the daily and what is that in response to? Because it has to be grounded in some kind of response, which again, one of the best ways to figure out what business to create is ask yourself, what am I most pained by, right? What is my biggest pain point and how do I remedy that? Or what is a pain point of mine? How have I remedied that? And then you can just share that with people. What products have I created? What systems, what mentalities have I created to overcome these challenges in my life or integrate these challenges in my life? That's a great place to go. um, Let's see. I'm curious why, as a projector, I trigger people even when I'm being ultra open and kind. Because just the fact that you see shit makes people uncomfortable. I'll tell you right now, Crystal Bell Stargel. Just the fact that you can see things, people are like suspicious because a lot of people are hiding from themselves. You know what I mean? Um, and as a projector, you can typically see it, and you can see what they need to do and how. And one of the things that probably pisses them off the most is that there's this innate understanding that whatever it is that they need to do to like get back on track with themselves is it's not as big of a deal as they're making it out to be, right? It's like when a kid breaks a vase or drops their ice cream, it's like the end of the world. But as an adult, if you break something, oh, okay, well, that's broken. Like you could have accepted it, right? You're matured your responses and reactions. AJ, I'm a 3-5 reflector. Sorry, I feel that way too, but I am generator. And recognize as well that like it's not just the projectors that can see things. It's just that generators are more inclined to be able to see themselves clearly, whereas projectors are more inclined to be able to see other people clearly. And by inclined, I mean it's just the natural build of it. It doesn't mean that a projector doesn't know how to take care of themselves or a generator doesn't know how to take care and guide other people. Generators can make wonderful guides. Again, they have to be in response though, right? People have to be asking them, like, what do you think about this? Give them something to respond to. Do you have energy to do this? Do you want to help me with this? Okay, cool. Like, that's the idea, is that you want to be living your life based around your strategy, because when you do that, life is just more natural. Like me living my 28-day strategy, life is so much more simple to me. I don't stress out about like, oh, I got to make a decision right now. If anything comes at me, and I'm not immediately like 100% yes, I've been calling this in, that's it. There's like that immediate recognition. It's like the completion of a lunar cycle. If it's like, oh, I'm not sure about this, I let that confidence or the decision evolve over time. I don't just like, oh yeah, well it would be satisfying, or oh yeah, it makes sense. Is no, if it's not the answer to one of my moon cycles, it starts another lunar cycle. And for me, that weeds out a lot of kind of nonsense that is exciting on the surface, but just doesn't end up, how you say, exciting me over time or creating energy for me over time. I think projectors are naturally empathic. So are reflectors and manifestors, for that matter. Specifically, they're empathic to other people's sexual creative energy. And because that's one of the strongest forces, sexual creative energy is one of the strongest forces in human life, right? Us being sensitive and empathic, being able to feel other people's sexual creative energy or lack of sexual creative energy, makes a huge impact on us. Someone asked me to talk about manifestors. I want to talk about manifestors. So manifestors are different than all of the other types for this one reason. So a manifestor has I'm going to pull up a chart real quick, guys. One of the qualities of a manifestor is that they have one of their energy centers that's not the sacral connected to the throat. So they have an energy center that's not the sacral connected to the throat. This is called a manifesting channel. This creates a repelling aura. My daughter is always manifesting her emotions. There's never a time in her life when she is not acting as a vessel for this channel of openness, which is very much so about emoting and individualizing yourself from the rest of the world by way of the emotional waves that you experience and by way of transmuting melancholy. Right. So for me, raising a daughter like this, I am hyper aware when she is moving through some emotional waves. I don't tell her to be quiet. I don't tell her I don't tell her it's going to be okay. Right. What I tell her, what I do often is I actually do my best to actually let her be alone and let her move through the emotional waves. And when she's done moving through the emotional waves, then she's fine and she forgets about it. That's how human beings could move through their emotions. It's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes of her like moving through it, but I'm not trying to suppress it or manipulate it. She's only 2. She's going to be 2 in a couple weeks. But I'm starting this now because this is typically when people will oh no, I want my child to be well behaved. Oh, I want, it's like an ego, a parent thing. Like I'd rather have a relationship with Aurora, my daughter, than her think of me as the best dad ever. I'd rather her think of me as like one of the main people that lets her be herself. So anyway, um, yeah, be like that. Huge light bulb, 5-1 manifesting generator. That's what's up, Christina. Happy you got that light bulb. I'm not trying to be rude in the live, but what kind of payments do you accept? You're not being rude at all, Anna. So if you go through my website, I use Stripe, so you can do PayPal, you can do Apple Pay, you can do cards, any of that kind of stuff. If I don't have an option that works for you, just email me at reikimastermarco@gmail.com, and we can figure something out. Just let me know what you want. I'm very helpful and accommodating in that way. I have a friend who has his 2-year-old son and newborn manifester. That's what's up, Celia. Hello, my dear unicorn friends. Yeah, so looking, and one thing that is also incredibly helpful is if you have the birth time and information of your, plug in their body graph, and looking at a composite between your father and you and your mother and you can be incredibly insightful. I've learned a lot of things just from looking at the composites between me and my parents and my brother, for that matter. Um, and again, it's not so much of like a figuring things out as actually letting go of having to figure things out, because so much of what human design allows us to do is be like, oh, it's just circuitry, it's just magnetics, it's just electricity. You don't have to take it as personally as some people take things. And so, Celia, I'm doing great. I'm feeling good. I'm going on vacation with my family on Wednesday. We're going to go see um, my partner's grandma. It's her birthday. She's getting older. Me too. I'm the only one with an open heart, right? So there's probably was a lot of competition and focus on achievement in your family, or there was none of that and it was super confusing. But typically people with defined hearts, okay, yeah, that makes sense. People with defined hearts are naturally more inclined to be focused on their achievements and competition and proving themselves, and that's natural, right? Like having an undefined heart, like here, my daughter has a totally undefined heart. This is called an open center, by the way. If you guys want some grammar so you can feel like a super cool human designer, that's an open center. That's an undefined center. That's also an undefined center, but that's not an open center. An open center has no gate activation. These gates, we call them dormant gates when they're in undefined centers, these halfway guys. And then these are called hanging gates when they're halfway, but they're in defined centers. Hanging gates, when they're undefined, when they're in undefined centers, the active gates are called dormant gates. Yes. I gotta go, but will G off you later tonight. What does G off mean? I will be G off you later tonight. Definitely love you, Anna. Have fun. Invite you to do something super nourishing for yourself before you go do whatever you got to do. Whatever you got to do. What's the thing that you get to do before you got to do it? Hopefully you heard that. Much love. That's another one of the things that I'm like super into is reframing. So it's like, for instance, I don't like saying I have to do this. I like saying I get to do this because it puts me in a vibration where life is not happening to me, it's happening for me. And yes, that may be delusional in some settings, but in 99% of the settings, it actually is, it taps you into how is this making me better rather than how is this a distraction, or how is this making my life more miserable. It just taps you into a better side of reality, in my opinion. I want to go work and make some cash. There you go. So I get to go work and make some cash. There's people that have to work and don't get to make anything. Pretty crazy. Put yourself first, not delusional at all. Yes, indeed. How do I get along with a reflector when I am not in a high vibrational place? Great question. One of the things that was kind of upsetting for me, because I'm the reflector in that situation. But one of the things that was kind of upsetting for me was my buddy Pasha, who I reference him a lot. He's a 1-3 emotional manifesting generator. He's one of the instructors in the archive. He's actually the only other instructor aside from myself in the archive. Um, he was raised by a reflector. And being an emotional being, he's very emotional. And so when he would be in his emotional waves, he would do things where he would not let me hang out with him. He would take himself out of, oh, we just reached our, we got 50% of the way with the tiny dinies. Thank you guys for the tiny dinies. Um, he he would take himself to the movie theater to ride out his emotional wave because he didn't want to expose me to it. So when you're not in a high vibrational place, consider what it is that you want from your reflector friend. If you want to vent, if you want some advice, if you want them to, hold you while you process some things, and just like, not only do you want to check in with them, but you also might want to consider like taking that energy and seeing what you can do with it on your own, as opposed to taking it immediately to the reflector, right? Because part of what I love about human design is this emphasis on like having all the capacity and all the capabilities to process things, especially emotions, in yourself, and then bringing that more refined process to each other. Because it's like, if you take a rough diamond to a jeweler, they can do something with that, but they're going to have to send it to someone to cut the diamond first. So if you take the diamond, get it cut, then bring it to the jeweler, that's a different story. So the idea is that as you mature, you're going to learn that your low vibrational states, it's not that they're not meant to be shared, but your low vibrational states are not supposed to be rushed through. Your low vibrational states, like, the best thing to do is to not try and get out of them super quick, right? Like, don't take them to your friends and be like, I'm feeling so low and I just want to be high again. It's like, even when I say it like that, it doesn't, like, be low. Because when you're in the low parts of your energy wave, that's where you're actually discovering and learning. Like, man, I don't like my friends anymore. Well, maybe I need new friends. Okay, what kind of friends do I want? Like the low end of the wave is just as valuable as a high end of the wave, but it's also as volatile. Like, there's going to be things that you're thinking about in the low wave that you don't want to expose your friends to because it's not even true. It's not even true, you know? And one thing that I really appreciate when as a reflector is when my friends let me know, hey, I'm in a bit of an emotional wave. Even just saying that, like, hey, I'm in a bit of an emotion, because as the reflector, I can tell you're hiding something. I may not know what it is, and I may not consciously know what it is, but if you're hiding low vibrational energy from your reflector friend, it's going to impact them. And they're going to look at you like, why are you hiding something? So it's important to be forthcoming about, hey, I'm in a bit of a low. So I'm like, oh, okay, great. So I'm not going to take any of this energy personally. I'm not going to make anything up in my mind. Um, so yeah, if you want smoother interactions with your reflector friends, just like know that you're not going to be able to hide anything from them energetically. Can you be a reflector and manifest? Yes. So all of the types except for manifestors are designed to manifest in collaboration. These manifested channels are the only things, but they're not manifesting ideas, okay? They're manifesting emotions, or they're manifesting the ego, or they're manifesting root pressure. They're not manifesting their ideas. In order to manifest ideas, and for the other 90% of the aura types, we have to cooperate with each other to manifest properly. Okay? Excuse me. And there also has to be the right type of circuitry present for depending on what kind of manifestation you want to bring about. So for instance, if you want to manifest better health, right? As a reflector, I don't have a defined spleen. One of the things I do have, I have the 48. This is not my chart, but as a reflector, if I want to manifest, I'll show you how I do this. Okay? I have the 48. If I want better health, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at gate 16. Who activates gate 16? For me, this is my younger brother. He has the gate 16. Whenever I bring his energy or the memory of him, or I envision him watching me work out, I work out harder. Now that's one of the ways that we can use samples, right, from other people. And he doesn't I don't need him to be coaching me, right? But in the times that he has coached me, I'm using that to strengthen myself and my physical body. So part of manifestation as well, especially for a reflector, is 28 days. Like as a reflector, if I'm curious about something, or if I want to see something work, I'm going to look at it in a 28-day window. For the first 5 or 6 days, it might not work. And same thing with with these lives. And like I was doing lives, and the first couple lives I did, I was like, oh, this isn't really working. But I committed to it for 28 days because I'm a reflector. And if I'm gonna genuinely see the results of something, I need to wait 28 days to see the results of something. So naturally, 2 moon cycles have gone by since we started going live, and things are continuously popping off. So when it comes to manifestation, again, I believe that manifestation is happens best in cooperation and in collaboration. So different people in your life are going to be able to hook you up in different ways and help you manifest different things or different aspects or components of yourself, because manifestation is not law of attraction. It's not about getting things. Manifestation is about bringing yourself online in a way that you become a vibrational match to whatever it is that you want, which you guys have heard that term, fake it to make it. Affirmations, and I just posted a video about this, so go check it out if you're into manifestations. But manifestation is not about law of attraction. Manifestation is about bringing whatever is inside you up, specifically out through the throat, right? Manifesting yourself with the help of others, being witnessed by others, being coached by others, being inspired by others, or being disgusted by other people so much that you get super far away from it because you're so disgusted. Disgust is a very powerful motivator, right? Like I'm running towards what I want, but I'm also running away from what I don't want. Hey, so I have synesthesia. I see sound. Reiki is so good when done right. Jumbo sparkles. So I have music on Spotify and SoundCloud. That's sound healing music. I would really love to know what colors or what you see from my music. That is so cool. That is such a and that is so such a cool mutation, is the blending of senses in that way, so that you see sounds or you hear colors or stuff like that. That is so fascinating to me. So, but which channels are manifesting channels? So these are the manifesting channels. You got that one, this one, that one. Basically, anything connected to the throat, those are going to be manifesting channels. That is technically a generated channel. There's not a lot of them. It's energy centers that are connected to the throat. So primarily these three, but I think there's more. Is there ever a time when your human design changes as you grow older? So, from my understanding, your human design is not going to change as you get older. What's going to happen is you're going to either come into a greater acceptance of your design or a greater resistance of your design. And that is going to determine whether you die a satisfied person or you die a frustrated person, or you die a successful person or you die a bitter person, right? Which part tells you if you're a projector or other? So, projectors, and if you go on my website, it'll literally just tell you. The reports will have more information about what a projector exactly is. But the qualities of a projector are that they do not have a defined sacral, and they have at least, and they also do not have any of the manifested channels. That's a projector, right? Being that is a undefined sacral and has no manifesting channels. That's a projector. That represents about 20% of the population. And again, you guys are meant to be guides, right? My friend, my synesthesia of auras, I see the entire field of light coming from all light. That is so cool. Um, yeah, I've always been really fascinated by that because I've never been uh clairaudient. I've heard things before. Clairvoyant. I've never been like able to really see as many things. I've seen auras a handful of times, but I'm more of a feeler, um, which is clairsentience. I think it's just like knowing and feeling. Um, Cash cow side hustle. Thank you for not following already, and you enjoy this content, and you want to follow, because nothing is worse than like finding a live creator that you like and then the live ending abruptly and you're like, oh my god, what was their name? So if you guys are with this about it, screen tapping is awesome. I think we're at 23,000 likes, which is epic. Also, I want you guys to know that I do have exclusive videos, and I do things especially for the subscribers, which is kind of a more recent thing. So if you are subscribed, I think it's like $6 a month, which is insanely low. I'm going to be doing like exclusive lives for the subscribers, and I also have exclusive videos, previews from the archive. What does it mean to be a follower? So following specifically is just following the page so you can see my posts and see when I go live. The subscription is different. Subscription is going to have it's a paid thing. Following is free, but the paid subscriptions I'm going to be doing. I have special exclusive videos for you guys, basically previews from the archive, things that is going up in my main subscription, which is called the archive, which is only $11 a month. That is a combination of like a learning academy. So there's all these different courses on. Right now, it's mostly biomechanics and sensory mechanics, but there's going to be human design stuff and Reiki stuff there getting added in the next couple months. And then it's also a discussion platform. So if you have questions or you want help on your journey, that's the place to do it. But yeah, that's the stuff that I got for you guys. And like I said, the new thing is the subscription via TikTok. Shmali, welcome to the subscription. So one of the things that we're going to do that's different, and actually we're getting close to it now, is I'm going to end the live, but I'm going to keep going with the subscribers. So if you want to stay online and ask some more questions, I'm going to be here for about another 15 minutes or so. So Shmali, you'll be in a part of that. And with that being said, I have to pee. So I will be right back. And meanwhile, you guys can just look at my chart. I'll be back. And I'm back. That's my cue to go to bed. All right, Celia. We'll see you next time. Misty Bad, thank you for liking the live, guys. This is like so much so much growth in just like such a small amount of time. It's kind of crazy. So a generator. So a generator is a being that has their sacral defined and also does not have any manifested channels, right? So with a Shmali, much love. Thank you for subscribing. I'm stoked to connect with you a little bit more. after the public live is over. But a generator is like you're here to build. You're here to contribute your creative energy to the collective. You're here to contribute your individual creative energy to the collective. Yes, but I'm a generator and have manifesting channels. Okay, so you're a manifesting generator. Same thing. You're still here to contribute your sacral energy, not the chart of a manifesting generator, which y'all can pretend. Actually, I do have a manifesting generator chart handy. There you are. Manifesting generator. So the key with the generator is to really like be very discerning about what you put your energy into. This is for everyone, right? And so, but specifically generators, be very discerning and listen to your gut responses um, when it comes to what you're going to put your energy into, right? Because for this person, their gut is going to go, ooh, uh-huh, or uh-uh. Whatever that response is, if they don't listen to it, they're going to end up frustrated. If they do listen to it, they're probably going to end up satisfied, right? And so the way that you read this, by the way, guys, is through experimentation. And I have reports on my website that will literally tell you how to conduct the experiment down to like, this is how to set goals. This is how to wake up every morning. This is what your chart says about you. And those are, again, those are reports. They're custom, they're custom generated for whatever body graph you put in there. So if you go to my website, generate your body graph, then you'll see two reports. One of them is called the Reiki report, which is what I recommend. It's 35 bucks and it's going to give you a whole analysis of your body graph. And like I said, the introduction to human design and the techniques is like the like how to use it. And then there's also the $20 report, just a more financially, you say, as a less financially impactful by $15 version that will give you the analysis of your body graph, but it won't give you some of the other components that the Reiki report has. So again, highly recommend the Reiki report just because it gives you the how to, but you could get a lot out of the $20 report as well. I'll do the 30. I'll go on the website and check it out. Let's go, Monique. Yeah, you guys, you're gonna love it. Everyone that I've has given me feedback on the reports are like, they're so stoked on it because they're very this stuff is very validating, right? Like human design is very validating, or it's very like stark in your face, like, hey bro, you need to start living your own damn life. Anyway, patiently waiting on you to know every single thing about the dream rave. Come bless us with that. Right? So the dream rave is, it's like one of the things that I've heard a lot of people in the human design space talk about the dream rave as like a playground. Like it's like if you're a generator while you're sleeping, as like create the wildest stuff. If you're a projector while you're sleeping, guide the great people, like guide Alexander. What is it like to be Alexander the Great's top advisor, right? Like use your dream space and your dream rave as a place to explore the playground of possibility. That's it. Like, dream raves, we people, I feel like we want the dream space to be more as guidance for us, but it's really like, it's a place to get reflections. So if you explore those reflections with that playful mentality in terms of like lucid dreaming, in terms of allowing yourself to visualize and actualize your affirmations within your dream space, yes, that's how you want to be using your dream. So, but I definitely have been learning a little bit more about the dream raves, and I don't want to say y'all aren't ready for it, but I'm not ready to share about it too much. So anyway, can you still get a correct human design chart without knowing the exact time you were born? So if you don't know the time that you were born, I would recommend getting the app Neutrino Design. It has a feature you see up there. It says new. I can't point to it, but up there, the new with the like little sliders thing. It's called birth time rectification. And basically what it'll do is it'll look at the windows of like different where the chart changes during the day, and it'll help you zone in on something. Now if you don't know the birth time and you've already called the hospital or relatives to ask what time you were born, this is the route that I would go, because what you can do is it'll give you a litmus test of like where you're at. And I would do it like initially, and then I would do it a month later and see if it's changed at all. And I would do it a month after that and see if it's changed at all, to start to narrow in, because the more you learn about your human design and the more you use this framework to see yourself, the more you're going to start to see what's called conditioning, which is like the way I am that other people think I should be, or the way I am that society pressures me to be, right? So, okay, that's great. I know so many people who don't know their birth time. That's really helpful. Yes, Jess, super cool. Super cool new feature from Neutrino Design. And again, you guys can get Neutrino Design at 25% off via the link in my bio. The sign up is a little different. You'll have to download the app, but then instead of like purchasing in the app, you'll just get an email. If you sign up through my website, you'll get an email with a code, plug the code into the app, and then you'll get full access to it. And it's not like a watered down version of the app for 25% off. It's the full app with all the bells and whistles and stuff. So yeah, if you want people to download Neutrino Design, send them through my website so that they can get the 25% off. It's weird. I only lucid dream when I'm anxious. Lucid. Oh, very interesting. So, and this is something beautiful, is like one of the things that I think human design can really help us all out in is like being a more conscious teller of stories, right? Like for instance, you know, s- I only dream when I'm anxious, or I only lucid dream when I'm anxious. What are the stories you're telling yourself about that? And not that I'm saying like that's a bad story to tell yourself. Just genuine curiosity, like what is the story of, your relationship, or the relationship between lucid dreaming and anxiety? Because again, as you may not know, you've been around emotions as a bad thing. I think that they're all natural functions, and that when people have too much anxiety, it's probably because they're not actually tapped in to their bodies enough. That balances out. That stress makes me conscious. Exactly, same thing with stress. Like, given the choice between stress and oh, do I have a session right now, my guys? My friends, I think I might have a session. Someone snuck in on me. Just gotta check real quick, y'all. Make sure I might. Ariel? Don't see it there, but maybe it's here. I experimented with lucid dreaming in high school, and it turns into a constant sleep paralysis at night terrors. Yeah. So if that's happening, right? Like again, sleep terrors and sleep paralysis. Like if you can learn how to be, how do you say, more interesting. Why is that on my calendar? Just want to make sure I don't have a session coming up here, guys. Huh. All right. Well, let's. Okay. Anyway, back to this. um, yeah. So Shmali, what I would say is, with the and sleep paralysis, like it's scary because you don't have control of your physical body, but in a lot of ways, that is kind of the access point that Reiki practitioners, that I will try and suspend someone in sleep paralysis, but I'm quote unquote keeping like night terrors away. I'm regulating that space, but I'm holding them in between waking and sleeping. And one of the things that you can actually do, and it's a really cool technique, that I'll probably make a video about and put it on the archive. It's called a night practice. I learned it from this guy, Dr. Samuel Sagan. But essentially, what you do is you lay on your back, and without going to sleep, you toggle back and forth, or you toggle up the body in terms of body parts. So you start laying down, and you bring your consciousness to your big toe on your right foot. Then you bring it to your big toe on your left foot. Then you bring it to your pinky on your right foot. And you bring it to your pinky on your left foot. Then you bring it to your ankle on your right foot. You go all the way up the body. And the idea is that by the time you get to the head, if you spend long enough doing that, your body will be in an induced sleep paralysis. And this again, between the waking and sleeping state is where so much healing energy exists, kind of hangs around. And so learning how to be non-reactive when when you're in sleep paralysis and experiencing night terrors, like this makes you a better journeyer in terms of astral travel and working with healing energies. So that's that. Well, okay, I think it is time for us to go subscription only. So if you guys want to join for this next part, it's going to be subscribers only. Much love to you guys that have contributed and joined for this public live here. We're going to go exclusive again. If you want to join on this next part of the live, all you need to do is subscribe. It's only like $6. And there's also, in addition to these like VIP lives, we're also going to have you guys are also going to get access to subscriber only videos and previews from the archive and stuff. And so for everyone that was a part of this public live, thank you so much. Again, if you want to join the VIP live, feel free to subscribe. If you need any or if you want any help with human design, I do one-on-one sessions. You can get your report for $20 or $30. Again, super affordable. The app Neutrino Design is there. If you're not following already, make sure you follow so you could at least come back to the page. I've got tons of videos on my page that are going to help you embody your human design, which is going to help you see yourself so that way you can love yourself and that way you can live a life that you love. That's the key. See yourself, live the life you love. So with that being said, much love to you guys. The next time we're going to be doing a public live is going to be next Monday at 9 a.m. Hawaii time. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And hopefully you guys have a lovely week and I will be seeing you next time. All right, and now we are in the subscriber only. So who's still in here? Who's still who's still in here? Because I see some hearts. I see 35 subscriber only lives. Yeah, what's up, subscribers? Hey, I gotta say thank you guys so much, especially hello Janet and Jenny. Smalley's new, Misty Babs new. What's up, guys? So this is that part of the live that I love exclusivity. I don't know about you guys, but there's something about inclusivity to me that is a real like kind of sucks. Um, Not that I'm against in being inclusive, but there's so much value in exclusivity. You know what I mean? And just speaking to it right here is like, we've got maybe I counted maybe four different people are commenting. I don't know who else is in the live. That number still says 31, which is kind of confusing to me. But the important thing about it, about exclusivity, right, is that there's certain things that happen um, exclusively that don't. And let me tell you what I mean. Um, if you are too inclusive with the people that can get close to you, you are unfortunately going to be creating so much interference in your life and in your manifesting of your life um, that eventually you're going to burn out, crash and burn, and you have to start being more exclusive with who you actually are spending your time with, because there's a saying that's like you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time around. And now with the internet, it's creating an opportunity for me to be one of those 5 people. And I'm not saying that as like a flex and like, oh, look what I've got. I'm not saying it to impress you. I'm saying it to what I want to. I'm saying that to impress upon you, guys. I've manifested some crazy stuff in my life. I've literally manifested a $60,000 van out of thin air. I've manifested what is now like a $10,000 bus out of thin air. I've manifested so many crazy opportunities, and I again, for this exclusive for the subscribers here, I want to touch in with you guys and help you guys get there. And so, whatever it is that you want to manifest, I think because I've been on like this like manifesting tip. Whatever it is that you want to manifest, let me know in the chat. And guys, be specific, because I'm going when it comes to human design. They say that these arrows are like supposed to tell you whether you're specific or non-specific manifester. That's that's a grossly underrated thing when it comes to manifestation. If it's not specific, if it's not tangible for you, like you can infuse emotion into it and sensation into it, it's just not going to work, right? Like vague manifestations are not, they're like porous boundaries or vague boundaries. It's like that's hardly a boundary at all, right? And it's still at the what's it called, at the mercy of the external authority. And what we want to do with manifestation is like make it an inside job, right? So I want to create a life coaching business with human design as a full-time job, right? So part of excellent. So, and Jenny, I know you're a generator. So part of one of your affirmations that you can just add is you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, I'm so happy and satisfied with the coaching business that I've created, and I'm so happy and satisfied with all of the wonderful people that I'm able to help. Now, notice that, like with manifestation, it has to be in the present tense. It's not, I want to create a life coaching business. It's, I'm so happy and grateful for my life coaching business. I'm so happy and grateful for the full time income in providing services. Because one of the things that you have to add to your manifestation rituals is this, like, I'm doing this in exchange for this, right? Like I'm offering insights and wisdom into human design in exchange for a full-time business, right? Yes, I'm a specific manifestation. I desire a four-door car with a motion roof. So go test drive that car. Take a video of yourself sitting in the driver's seat. Exactly what color? Like the more specific we can get, the better. Now, here's where specific and non-specific actually have relevance, guys. So you want to be specific about what you want, but very unspecific about how you're going to get it, right? Because sometimes you're going to get things in ways that you wouldn't have expected, or ways that you wouldn't have naturally thought about, right? And so, for instance, when I was writing down the manifestation spell to get my van, one of the things that I added to it after I had finished it, because at the end it was, I intend to offer in exchange for all of these things. I am offering Reiki to people and offering healing to people. It was like all the stuff that I'm doing in exchange the um for the manifestation, the result of the manifestation. And then I added at the end, I'm also happy and open to receiving this as a gift and not doing anything. So guys, that's a really interesting clause that you can add into your manifestation, is that I'm so happy and grateful that this came to me as a gift from the universe, right? I'm willing to do this. This is what I'm willing to do, and I'm open to receiving this as a gift from the universe. So again, I like to call it praying to the spaces in between. Like for instance, if I'm doing Reiki and I want to send Reiki to someone, but I don't have their explicit permission, um, I can pray to spaces in between. If the person is open to receiving this, I'm sending this energy their way. Right? It will be available for them if they're open to receiving it. Sexy sweetie subtle, welcome back. Yeah, I went exclusive live, which this is the first time we're doing an exclusive live, and we're just talking about manifestation here. And so, again, understanding that, Jenny, it's a brilliant idea to be so supportive of me, because again, by reverse osmosis, I have a pretty successful business coaching with human design. One of the things that I feel like a lot of people are afraid of is like, oh, they'll see me as their competition. I am not your competition, Jenny. I am here to collaborate with you. I'm here to help you out as much as I can by way of, not only education, but then also in some more tangible ways like this, where it's like you support me, I support you. I need other people to be sharing about human design. You know what I mean? Like I actually need that, because not everybody is going to see me and resonate with me. Some people are going to see you and resonate with the way you talk about human design and the way you share and the way you understand human design, which is subtly different than me. Right now, again, what I like to call it, like flying with eagles. It's important to be around people that again are better than you in certain ways, and not in like an egoic way, like, oh, this guy's cooler than me or blah blah blah, but it's like, oh, this person has a higher, more refined sensitivity to human design, to A, B, C, D, etc. So anyway, anyone that's in this chat, again, I'm here to help you guys manifest yourselves, see yourselves, love that self, and then that you're gonna need. Like straight up, that's all you're gonna need. I'm also here to help detox some of the brainwashing that we've had in the West around like needing to achieve things, needing to needing to do things in order to provide value to the world. Because so much of the value that you're going to provide to the world, my friends, is going to be literally you just actually giving yourself permission to live your own life, right? And everything that I'm doing with human design and the archive, it's to empower you guys to live your own life. And again, you might need to hear this message 100,000 times. That's fine. You're not gonna like miss out on anything. Like the whole point of this is that, you know, you want to miss out on things. You want to miss out on the things that are not right for you. That's what we use human design for, is to miss out on the on that stuff. Which, oh dude, I'm totally like still on YouTube, guys. So what's up, YouTube? I don't do we have subscriber only stuff on YouTube? I don't know about that, but anyway, I'm on a manifest for this one. Since we're already in here, we're just gonna add, hello, I've subscribed but not a member. I can still see you. What's up? I want to manifest a nonprofit that works with people with PTSD, animal assisted forest bathing, yoga, somatic therapy. God, that sounds awesome. I love that. I'm a 6'2". I'm here to role model, and your content encourages that. I love it. Yes, yes. The sixth and the role model energy again is, it's not like, oh, this is how to be the best, you know, um, uh, real estate agent, or the best mother, or the best this. It's like, this is how I am the best me. You can figure out how to be the best you. That's the thing that you want to role model to the people, because you want to encourage people to be themselves. And that's the best part about all this, is like me manifesting my dreams is giving y'all permission to manifest your dreams and your livelihoods as well. And I tell you, it's not that it's hard. It's actually that it's so easy that we will end up like, it's kind of like this. Like growing a plant is not hard. You just have to pay attention. You put the seed in the ground, you wait for it to sprout. If you dig up the seed before it starts sprouting, you've interrupted the process. So anyway, what you got to do is plant the seed and know how to like tend to it and water it, which we just reached the tiny tiny goal. I love it, guys. I love it. So anyway, smoking yogini, back to you, which we're in like a weird like YouTube subscribers thing, TikTok subscribers thing. This is great. This is the way I do things. This is the 3-5 manifested right here, guys. It's like, okay, well, let's just figure it out. And again, it doesn't feel good to exclude people, but it definitely feels good to be able to focus on a group of people that are willing to oh god, manifestation. I just got a nice big check in the, or Zelle, whatever. Yeah, I love it, guys. Love it. But anyway, manifesting that nonprofit, smoking yogini, love it. One of the best things that you can do for working with nonprofits, and you probably already know this, if find people that already run nonprofits, because a lot of the times nonprofits will have programs where they can like sponsor other nonprofits. And then the best part about, again, being in the digital age is like documenting all of this stuff is so fun. And one of the reframes that I like, I got this from Gary V, is especially for those of you that are like into wanting to put content out there and share in that way, is you're not creating, you're documenting. Right? When it comes to social media, you're just documenting what you're doing. What you're creating is the thing that you're actually doing. So, smoking yogini, for you, being in the forest, right? Doing the somatic therapy, working with animals, all of that is the creating. The putting the camera on it is just documenting. Heck yeah, starting this week with a horse ranch that works with kids with special needs. Beautiful. I bless you on your journey. Also, the reason why I'm asking you guys to share your manifestations is because this stuff circulates in my brain, right? And I do this for my friends as well. I say, tell me the things that you want to manifest, because there are times of the day when, like, I will be kind of like inclined to put energy towards your guys' manifestations and the manifestations of my friends. So this is actually the first one of the first containers that I'm actually opening myself up in that way to actually share that kind of energy. It's like a distance Reiki session. So, for instance, anyone that is sharing this, you know, I know about Hello JNet's car. I know about Jenny's business. So, I'm not going to put a time limit on that. But at being part of the community, the more involved you guys are, the more that you're contributing and creating this channel of reciprocity. I give you guys give to me. Part of my giving to you is to take everything that I know about Reiki and about manifestation and apply it to you guys directly. So now you've got me in your corner. I want to manifest cozy, closer to the beach and my family. Okay, great. Schmally. So one of the things that that could be really fun for you, and I'm very into like somatic exercises and doing things and creating rituals to like make this more real for yourself. A cozy house closer to the beach. So one thing that I want you to do is I want you to find a chair, and we'll just call it your cozy chair. Get the cozy chair. Get the sound of the ocean, put it right next to your window, and spend 5 minutes a day closing your eyes and visualizing yourself relaxing at your cozy oceanside beach that's closer to your family, and just listen to the waves and let that relax you. Now I know that this is a how do you say, this is like an experiment, but I'm serious. Like, these kinds of things are the things that people will not do because they're like, oh, that's crazy. Like, that's ridiculous. Do that for 28 days though, and your vibration around living at this cozy house will be so much more synced up with actually living at a cozy house by the seaside because of that recording. You know what I'm saying? I'm manifesting me being mentally, spiritually, physically, financially abundant. I love it. I would love to. So, for instance, and that's a lot. And so, one of the things that I would say is, for instance, when you feel like, for instance, spiritually abundant, what are the feelings that actually are going to come up? Or what are some of the phrases that may come up about yourself? Because part of the power of manifestations, and where affirmations and manifestations go really well together, and also realizing as well, is like part of this container is like you got everyone in here also cheering for you, and also it's like, are you guys going to actually make this happen? Because Janet, we're getting you a car. Jenny, we're getting you a bit. We're getting you that business, and in ways, you guys already have it. Sexy, sweet, subtle. Like, we're getting you all these things, but it's going to be because you are, again, manifesting yourself, bringing yourself into manifestation, and then allowing yourself to to start to turn the gears in your day to day life. So it's, again, you got your team spirit, and you've also got your actual actions that are going to be contributing to this. So with that being said, one of the things that I would say is the broad statements with manifestations are awesome, but you really, like, for instance, what would you be doing if you were financially abundant? If you were spiritually abundant, what would your morning practices look like? If you were emotionally abundant, what would some of these emotions that you'd move through, and write it out, journal, and journal as in a way of reflecting on yourself, but also in a way of being like writing a contract with yourself, saying like, this is what I'm going to use my financial abundance for, right? And one of the things that I have in my Reiki reports is I recommend people write a 7-year goal. So in addition to these kind of like, oh, I'm manifesting these things, and I would say everybody's goal that they've shared so far, you're in a 18-month cycle. I move in 28-day cycles because the lunar cycle. I move in 18-month cycles because the cycle of neuroplasticity and building and rebuilding and dismantling connections in the brain chemistry, and then 7-year cycles in terms of physical reality and achievements. So months is like my trial period, or sorry, 28 days is my trial period, lunar cycle. 18 months is my like I'm going to go 18 months of showing up on live, because I've done the 28-day lunar cycle trial period. I'm going to do this now for 18 months. And then in 7 years, that's going to turn into something, is the way my mind works. So 18-month goals, right? In terms of like getting a car, having a business, all of that stuff, those are well within the 18-month goals. By the end of my 18 months with subscribers and community, like I just want like this thriving community, which looks like over 200 people in the subscription, which again, that's like realistic, but also a little reach. When you're setting these goals, you don't want them to be things that you can already do, right? You want to set goals that inspire you to become something more than you are right now. That is the whole point of goals. It's not about what you get. It's about what you can how like, oh, I don't know how to get there. Okay, well, figure it out. How do you get there? That's what a true goal is. Like a goal that like I know how you say um like write a song, right? Like I already know how to do that. But how do I write a song? If, for instance, like an actual goal for myself right now is like, how do I write a song? And this has been a challenge for me specifically because of music. So a little bit of vulnerability here. How do I write a song that encompasses the way I feel about being a father, that I can sing to my daughter? What is that? What is that song? That's been one of my like attempted. That's my goal. I've been trying to write a song like that, and it's hard. I don't know how to do it yet. I've never written a song. Most of the songs that I've written have been about breakups, straight up, or about like I'm so cool flexing kind of rap songs. So to write a song like that is very different for me. I don't know how to do that, but it's going to force me to touch parts of myself and manifest parts of myself that I've either been too afraid to, I've convinced myself I can't do it, etc. So anyway, writing out these goals is super important, and I think probably next week. I'll probably do a little bit more of like an exercise. I'm starting to see how much fun these lives can be. I'm so excited to see where we are all in the future, right? Because it's like, this is the first live, and it's October 14th. This is the first subscriber only live. And for the people that are tuning in on YouTube, by the way, next time I'm going to be better at like actually switching the gears and going exclusive live TikToks. This is for the, I'd like this to be again exclusive for the TikTok crew. Um, there's just so much magic here, guys. There's so much magic and there's so much potential inside you guys. And one of the things that I would also recommend for any of the subscribers is to be also subscribed to the archive, because the archive is really where um, you really start to see, because like there's people out there that I'm sure they have similar ideas to me, but what they don't have is a method of actually like bringing this into the body. So if you're not on the archive, get on the archive. There will be some practices that get shared from the archive to this subscriber only thing, but the width of the archive in terms of community, because there's a discussion forums, in terms of learning, because there's already a bunch of information on how you say biomechanics and sensory mechanics already on the archive, like the foundations for you to build: the eyes to see, the ears to hear, the mouth and the neck to swallow, the hands to grab, and the feet to move. Like for you to build the mechanics, there's pre-recorded stuff on there. I'm probably going to start putting the lives there too, because YouTube records them and posts them. So I'll probably have the lives also in the archive, because I don't know how long these lives last on YouTube. But you definitely need to hear this more than once. Like the only reason I move the way that I move is because I've done it so many times, guys. And I don't really like put too much of my movement out on TikTok. We're mostly kind of like sitting here talking. But that is one of the primary parts of my practice is the physical movement, and all of that is in the archive. And I started this daily practices, so like little micro doses, things like sensory mechanics. You guys remember I've done some of these exercises with you guys, right? That all of that in great detail is in the archive. And so again, there's very complimentary subscriptions, and you'll get pieces here on TikTok, but the real benefit is from TikTok is going to be these live sessions. There will be live calls based off the archive, but again, if you just want more of this, TikTok subscriptions, and then also the archive subscriptions are going to be where all of this is at. So yeah, this is awesome, guys. I'm really excited, honestly, in 18 months to be like, hey, we got Jenny, Jenny's business is thriving, and Janet's got their car. But again, this is like, it's not just going to happen for you, right? You're going to have to align yourself with your own energy for this to work, because the people and the energy that I'm pouring into right now in the subscription, like I'm pouring into the signature of you. I'm not pouring into the not self version of you. It's like your not self is going to be very intimidated and scared of me because I'm going to call it out when I see it. And that's, again, that's part of being in an exclusive community, because I can't do that. I can't do that for you know, people that are just joining and they're like, convince me that human design works. If you subscribed, it's because you see the value and you want to go deeper with it. And so that's exactly what we're here to do. And admittedly, since I'm a 3/5, I'm going to learn what you guys want and how to deliver the goods that you guys are craving, based off of third lining, which is basically making mistakes, based off of, oh man, I wish we had more of this in the live. I wish we had more of that. And so something that I would like to invite forward from anyone is, if you have ideas about how to, you know, um, render these services or complete or advance the mission further, which again, the mission is to like give everyone an opportunity to access this information. That's the mission. Um, Bring it forward. And you can bring it forward here in the live chat. You can bring it forward somewhere in the archive. Like I have a channel in the archive that's specifically for feedback and suggestions and stuff. Bring it forward there. Bring it forward in my DM. But I'm very open, and I know that everything that I do is a human thing, and that I'm gonna make mistakes, and that we're gonna just roll with it, right? And so the more that there's a back and forth between us, just the better things can go. And so this one again was about manifestation. One thing that I wanted to clue you guys into is the current transit right now is the sun in gate 32 and the earth in gate 42, which 32 is a gate in the spleen that is called continuity. It's about duration. And specifically, it's about the ability to adapt and change and move along. It's about knowing, right, what is going to be accepted. It's about knowing what can transform. It's about knowing what can't transform. And these are transits, guys. And so if you look at uh, your neutrino design, right, and you turn the transit overlay on, you can actually turn on certain planets and turn off certain planets. So I like to just look at the moon sometimes. But if you look at your body graph, like for instance, the moon at this during this juncture was in gate 13. Gate 13 is going to be right over here, right? Which I already have gate 13, which you guys can already tell in my design side. But let's say if it was gate 33 that the moon was in, and your body graph will create what's called transit definition. So based off of the movements of the current planet, this works as well for composites, other people like hooking you up, right? Like if the 33 goes on, then this channel goes live. That defines my throat and my G center. When your definition is temporarily changed by the transits, one of the main things that you want to do is pay attention to the way that I'm speaking and pay attention to the direction that I'm moving in. And not as a way of like, oh, this is the time that you're going to know which direction is right for you, or you're going to know to live life as a generator. I'm tempted to just do things that my gut tells me to do. Now, I don't actually live that out because I have awareness of the transits. So when your centers get defined by the transits or defined by other people, you are still your aura type, right? You still have your circuitry. It's just going to be, how you say, additional configurations. And so when my sacral is defined and I'm getting strong like energies, I don't go for it, right? I don't go for it because my strategy is still wait 28 days, right? During that time with smaller decisions like food, I'm paying more. I'm listening to my gut, right? I mean, I'm playing around with using it, but I'm not changing my strategy or the way that I live based off of the transits. So the way that you get your chart to look like this is in the settings up on the top right. If you click the settings and you click mandala view, it'll show the body graph like this, which is honestly, it's like I pretty much always view it like this, just because it's like a clock. It's literally like a clock. And just like having the clock here is to me super cool, especially because if you see down here, the chat is kind of in the way. But if, down here, there's a slider that will advance us forward in time and backwards in time. And you'll be able to see the movement of the current transits and how they affect your body graph, which transit tracking is definitely very helpful, especially for people that are non-sacral, because one of the qualities of non-sacral beings, right, is that their energy waves are less consistent than generators. Generators will typically wake up with energy, and by the time they go to sleep, hopefully their sacral energy is exhausted and they can just sleep. Lunar beings, or sorry, non-sacral beings or undefined sacral beings, a little bit different. Some days we wake up with more energy than others. It's important for us to be able to tune in to what energy is there rather than the expectation of what should be there. For instance, when your sacral is defined, you might wake up with all this energy for like a week. Your sacral is defined by maybe the sun gate, right? During that week, you wake up, you have more energy, cool. But then the next week, don't get upset that you don't have that same vigor or energy for life, right? And this is one of the things that human design shows us what things to actually bypass because they are bypassed, right? You guys have heard of that term, spiritual bypassing, before, which is this, it's just like, oh, it's all love, it's no evil. It's like, no, sometimes there is impact and people get hurt and etc. You can't bypass those kinds of things. But when it comes to, man, why do I not have the energy that I used to have? The explanation for it a lot of the times is in the transits. And not that you guys need to use the transits and be so obsessive about them, but again, they can teach you about what things to bypass and what things, like you're being too hard on yourself, right? You're being too hard on yourself in a lot of ways. And you're not being hard enough on yourself in other ways. And this is usually how it goes. You're being too hard on yourself in the areas where it doesn't freaking matter, and you're not being hard enough on yourself in the areas where it absolutely matters. Which is like for sacral beings, all the generators out there, if you're not singing and dancing every day, you are missing out. You are missing out. It doesn't have to be like full on ecstatic dance, cacao dripping from your forehead type stuff. It can just be like little grooving, but singing and dancing is one of the most simple and most immediate ways that we can manifest our sacral, our sexual creative energy. And especially if you are a manifesting generator or generator, you ought to be dancing every day. You ought to be singing every day. This is, and again, this is something that's like something that actually matters, similar to your strategy. Like you ought to be using your strategy every single day. I sing to my kitty cats every day. Brilliant. Brilliant. Love it. And so much of it as well is because, you know, sacral energy, sexual energy, we have these diaphragms, right? And it's like, you know, your mouth can go, there's different shapes, and depending on how I shape my mouth, it's going to determine the type of thing that comes out. Crazy you mentioned that, because I tend to randomly dance to no music throughout the day. Your sacral is the rhythm. It is the song. That's because this is the thing. When you hear a song that you like, it's not because the song is good. It's because the song is a vibrational match, right? And that there's something inside you responding. The reason you want to dance or sing along with the song is not because the song is good. It's because it's a vibrational match, which if you let yourself go there, that's good for you. By good, I mean like you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're responding to music with your sacral energy, right? And it's important that this sacral energy gets used. Now, it's also important for non-sacral beings to do that as well. But if it's like, you know, some days I don't really feel like dancing, some days I don't really feel like singing. And so, what do I do with that sexual energy or the lack of sexual energy? Well, I myself for it, number one, or I do my best. Sometimes I do, right? Being a non-sacral being for me is, you know, one of those things where it's like we get to learn how to embrace the lack of consistency when it comes to our energy. For the generators, you guys get to learn how to embrace the consistency of it, right? Like a lot of times generators will get caught in this trap of like, man, I just need a break. I feel like I can't catch a break. And I'm like, it's not that you need a break. You're just not doing anything that's actually satisfying for you. And so by the time you get to sleep, your sacral energy is like, we didn't do anything satisfying today. We can't sleep. That's why you're tired. And so oftentimes with generators, if I have a generator that's burnt out, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to say, what is the most satisfying thing of your day? Whatever amount of time you spend, whether it's feeding your cat, watering your lawn, spend twice as much time doing that. Because if you spend more time doing something that's satisfying for you, that will expend your energy and you'll be able to sleep better. Even if you work a job you hate or you're in a relationship you don't like, as you're transitioning out of those things, if you just increase the amount of time that you spend doing the thing that's satisfying for you, it means that you're going to again actually have that energy to put to use. So if I'm tired, it means I still have energy to expel. It's essentially it's like if you feel tired all the time, it means that I'm tired right now. Should I take a nap or go dancing? Exactly. Right? Because it's like, here's the thing is if you have unspent sacral energy, and this goes for non-sacral beings too, but if you have unspent sacral energy, um, it's gonna be harder to sleep. And if it's harder to sleep, then you're not going to get enough rest and you're not going to get the energy back that you want. So it's important for generators again to have something in your day. Identify what is the most satisfying thing of your day and spend twice as much time doing it or 10% more time, whatever. Or introduce something that's satisfying in your days that you're going to be able to put your sacral energy into so that way your sacral energy is not keeping you up at night or interrupting your sleep. Now, for non-sacral beings, it's not necessarily about that. It's not about doing more. In fact, non-sacral beings, it's usually about doing less. A lot of times, non-sacral beings get caught up in the, again, thinking they're generators, right? And so for like Jenny, not to say that naps are not good for you, but generally speaking, like that. Generally speaking, going dancing or like moving your body, expelling that energy is going to be more energizing for you than taking a nap. Sometimes taking a nap won't work for you, straight up. Sometimes you take a nap and you're more tired than when you woke up. It's not because you're not tired or low energy because you don't have energy. You have low energy because you're putting your energy into something that's not satisfying. So anyway, that's that. Which this has been freaking awesome, guys. I think I'm gonna start wrapping it up here. Yep. Wow, this is probably one of the longer lives that I've done. But this is amazing. Um, yeah, we're gonna start wrapping up here, guys. Thank you guys for participating in the first exclusive VIP subscription TikTok. Thank you for those of you on YouTube that accidentally got in when I opened the door to the backstage pass. But for those of you that are actually wanting to be a part of this again, if you're on YouTube, definitely subscribe because we love YouTube. But if you want to participate in more of these exclusive lives, come here to TikTok and subscribe through TikTok. It is a paid subscription, and so that way there's going to be again a little bit more value and energy that I'm going to be able to bring to a smaller audience, so we can be a little bit more intimate. We can be a little bit more um, uh, precise. I am going on vacation this month with my family. It's going to be our second family vacation, which holy crap gives me so much anxiety, but it's expanding me beyond the boundaries of where I already exist. And It's awesome and I'm very excited, but also like very anxious about it. So all the prayers you guys can send, super appreciated. I'm going to be sending them right back. Again, if you need reports or the app or you want to book a session, all of that is available via the link in my bio. Just as well for anybody that wants to like truly get into the deeper layers of relating and working and operating on the level that I operate, come join the archive. So this TikTok subscription is going to you're going to see stuff from the archive here on TikTok, and the archive itself is definitely the subscription that you guys are going to want. It's only $11 a month. So again, I like to keep things low just because it's like I want it to be accessible. And I remember being in my like 21 years and needing to save up like $1,000 to do my Reiki training and figuring it out, but being like, I wish this was more acceptable and I didn't have to borrow money from my mom and stuff. But anyway, so that's my endeavor is to make this as affordable. So what helps is if you guys reap the benefits, you manifest your lives, you love your lives, and then we just talk about it. Right? You be the living example. I do everything by word of mouth. I have not taken out an ad. I might start just because I think we're doing something cool here. But most of my how you say following is like pretty much all of my following is from just organic results, and that's really what I love. So excited for my real session next week. Yes, I saw you book, my friend. I'm really excited for you as well. Get your guys self set up on the archive. Make sure you say hello in one of the posts. Start digging into the learning sections. And again, things are just going to grow from here. So thank you guys so much for being here and participating. Again, we're bringing human design Reiki biomechanics to the world so that people can learn to start to see themselves, and they can start to love the parts of them that are actually them, and then so that they can love the life that they're living. We'll see you guys next Monday at 9 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. And then from there, we'll be back on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But I'm going to be taking this Wednesday and Friday off to be with the family. Much love to you guys. I will be seeing you next week. Have an absolutely amazing week and weekend. And I will see you on Monday. Aloha, friends. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. Much love, YouTube. See you next time.